Okay, next up is going to be Disillusionist, the LitRPG Misadventures, Fetch Quest, and Bog Gods, written by Tony Joy. It is 197 pages, $3.99. It's available on Kindle Unlimited, and here's the author's description. What's the smart move when playing a support class mage with no offensive magic to speak of? Undertake a solo adventure in a monster-infested with bog, of course. Who needs a well-rounded party when you have second-hand daggers, illusions, and flexible morals? Dean? Probably, but he's not about to admit that. The last adventurer sent to the Pitmerdan bog for some routine fantasy world community service failed to complete the quest, so now Dean's goddess, has made it his problem. Spending days in a backwater bog town isn't Dean's idea of fun in the first place. With its seeking cold waters and lack of creature comforts, even the quest giver seems to think that this is some sort of hazing from Dean's faction. What started out as an unpleasant fetch quest becomes a nearly impossible struggle for control when Dean finds himself at odds with everyone who was supposed to support him and the forces of a lesser deity. He'll surely be able to thwart their plans with his ability to produce convincing illusions that cause absolutely no damage. Taking into account his allies, the alcoholic chemist, and a tavern mage, he's got this in the bag. Okay. This story has a terrible cover. I'll be honest. It's probably not doing particularly well, in part because of this terrible cover. Like it doesn't draw in at all. This is a magic main character. He's completely, wizard race. He's an illusionist, and the story itself is pretty decent adventure. It's not the best in the world. It's also not very long though. One of the things I appreciate. It's how I was able to get so many views this week. Done. The story is decent and its unusual main character as an illusionist with the boost to the class spells, but little else in the way of magic and minimal combat skills. The character is supposed to use those skills to get other players and take advantage of NPCs in a short quest. There's not much role building because it is such a short story, and so it focuses mostly on that quest and kind of the unexpected consequences of it, and how the main character uses his limited skill set intelligently, which is the only part I kind of enjoyed. The game stuff is consistent. The other sets of the main character uses illusion magic a lot, without necessarily running into resource issues, but he kind of sets it up so that the main character doesn't have those issues. He also tracks what spells cost, so he's making an effort at least to make sure you see that it isn't free magic. There are plenty of notifications, quest stuff. I didn't like the formatting of the notifications. I thought they were super annoying. They were all in caps with a hashtag in front of them, which felt a little codish. And it was just kind of visually distracting for me. Might come across better as an audiobook, reader, but there's no audiobook version. I'm just saying might read better that way. But I found it to be kind of annoying. The way the notifications were formatted to my eyes felt unnecessary and cumbersome, but it's a minor gripe. Overall, it's kind of an okay story. It's not necessarily bad or anything. It's just kind of middle of the roadish, decent. I had an issue with the page count. It's a little short for me to really get fully engaged with the main character and the storyline, but it was okay. Like essentially a quest and some unexpected consequences and how the main character deals with them, all using his illusionist skills. Like you could tell that the magic system was a little stretched so the main character wouldn't be too disadvantaged. But it was balanced out by the fact that he doesn't have any combat magic necessarily. So that's the counterbalancing element. So there you go. So fine page, fine story for its page length, not the groundbreaking, but I appreciated the smarter feel of the main character. Give it a score of 7.2 out of 10. Enjoyed it, just on the lower end of enjoyment. The Disillusionist, the LitRPG Misadventure, Fetch Quest, and Bog Gods.